Hey everybody, here we are at the last stinking part. We get a lot done, I think, in this video, as far as coming from this to the end zone. I tried to, again, edit it to be as not boring and not too long as possible, without kind of sacrificing, your guys' ability to see what I'm doing. As you can see here, you can actually get a pretty good shot of my palette and some of what I'm mixing there. So I was like accidentally cool for a minute. I was like, oh, that's kind of helpful. Maybe they would like to see that. Nice job, accidental Kens. So just a lot of softening and blending. This painting really taught me a lot about how effective layering really is. I really just didn't think that I would be able to achieve the level of smoothness that I ended up achieving by the end of this, just simply by going over it on different days with different layers. I figured, well, if I didn't get it smooth the first time, it's probably just going to keep being made more and more of a mess that every layer on, but that really didn't happen. Actually, it kept just smoothing and working with the colors underneath the last layer, and it was just, it was really satisfying. You see my face a lot in this, so again, I'm apologizing for that, but that's just how it is. Working on the lips, working on the face, just touching up anything that I can think of, kind of me just working so that I loosen my hand up. It's almost kind of like a pre-sketch before I really decide what I want to attack. Because kind of toward this point of the painting, I was like, oh, where do I really want to go with this? I'm not entirely sure. But we found a way. We found a place. Pulling in one of those makeup brushes to blend with, which is just... I'm really so glad that I tested that out. I'm now using a regular oil paint brush, a flat brush. So, depending on the area, depending on what I'm trying to go for, I will transition to both. I do find that this nice soft flat brush does a really nice job of blending two paints together. And I kind of just use it in a cross-hatching motion. So I'll go, left to right, left to right, left to right. Then I'll go up and down, up and down, and up, down. Here's a new addition to the arsenal. I just started using this guy for this section of the painting. Another makeup brush. Basically this really nice, really soft makeup brush, but also with a really nice, finer tip. So I could get into Levia's face and really start smoothing things out in areas that, my other makeup brushes that I was using just didn't get to before. Adding some rim lighting under the nose, messing around with the mouth and the nose. The mouth looks a little small in this video, but now that I have the painting right next to me finished, and it looks okay, so it could just be the lighting. And I'm so sorry for the lighting. Oh boy, there's just no words for the frustration of my lack of ability to film things. Look at how much my eyebrows stick out from my forehead. Huh. Don't look at that, actually. I take it back. Going in with a smaller kind of angled oil painting brush. I don't know if this is even an oil painting brush or if it is a watercolor brush, because it has that weird end. The other end was kind of jagged, like a dagger end, and so I think that might have been a watercolor brush, because sometimes with watercolor you can kind of cut through with what you're already doing and make some designs and stuff. Kind of now down here working on the clavicle, chesticle area, just trying to get a bit more of a match to the face and also some more dimension, and just kind of experimenting and playing around as usual. That's what Levia's been about. Levia to me means experimental. I eventually intend on cutting out quite a bit of her chest area, because I just think it's unnecessary. That's got a while yet, but it's coming. Adding some rim light to her neck and to her chest, just to kind of place her more in her weird, wonky environment. Some might say that I got a bit too busy by the end of this, but you know what? I don't agree. I think it's pretty nice, in the sense of I don't feel like I pushed it too far. I still think I could go a bit further with it now that I'm looking at it at the end, but I'm also glad that we can call it done. But we're not there yet with you guys. So as you can see, kind of a glimpse of my palette, I'm just going back and forth, mixing colors that are really bright red. Let's see what happens if I throw a really bright red on the skin, you know, and blending it out. Kind of looks like she's got blisters, but not for long. Bye, blisters. Then I have, as you can see up there, kind of a more really dark, cold purple color. Oh, see, here we go. Here I am, cutting her up, cutting her right up, giving her some hair surgery. Never mind. We're going back to the mouth. Forever the mouth. Forever trying to make this look like an acceptable mouth, and forever being frustrated. I really like just painting underneath the eyeballs. I find it a lot of fun. Not painting mouths is also fun. I'm not finding that as fun. Getting some rim lighting under the mouth, adding some highlights to the bridge of her nose, to the tops of her lids, messing around with her eyeballs. And yeah, it's just a lot of jumping around with this one, which was a lot of fun and very relaxing. It was nice. And here we are working on her spinal cord garden, we'll say. Just experimenting, kind of let that last layer dry so I could paint these finer lines. I'm still not achieving the fineness of lines as I would like to, but hopefully I'll figure it out and learn soon. Just pulling some vines out from between the bones, just because I think it's interesting and looks cool. Still wasn't quite sure with where I was going with this, but just playing around and experimenting. Now I'm up here touching up some flowers, adding some foliage to her little headdress, and bouncing back to the spine, bouncing back up to the head, adding some highlighted areas to the leaves. I did try to take some close-up shots of this part, but my camera just wasn't good enough, and it was so blurry I didn't even want to add it because I figured it hurt my eyes. I was like, I'm not gonna bother. So this is about as close as we can get. But I'm just using, different mixtures and different values of light. Oh, here we go. Here's some fanciness. The eyebrows. Here's where we start. Here's where it starts. I'm torn by the end of this with the eyebrows. I partly wish I had left them off. I partly dig them because I think they kind of look like weird, and it almost lends itself to her, but I don't know if I'm just making an excuse. But I don't know. So yeah, we just started drafting in some space for the eyebrows, touching up the eyelids, messing around with that. Nose. This week has been quite interesting. Been a lot of change, a lot of art related stuff. Almost done with that really big commission. Really, almost completely done. I honestly just probably have a couple more things to touch up on, and I'm just waiting for that previous layer to dry before I do so, and then a varnish, and then the nerve-wracking step of bringing it to the client and hoping that I was able to achieve some of what they hoped I could achieve. It was a big honor to work on it, and it was one of the most challenging and pleasant experiences I've ever had, and I've probably never worked as hard on a piece as I have for this one. So I'm very hopeful that it will bring them joy, because that's all you do when you're an artist. You just want to make people happy with your stuff. I hope you guys are doing well. There's the snow over here up north has been quite intense. It's given me some time to work at home, but it's been quite a white winter, I'll tell you, especially back here in the woods. There is no roads. Oh, here we go. There, see, I was like, I don't want to even deal with this shit. I'm just gonna keep adding baby hairs. Just gonna keep adding baby hairs and pretend we didn't do that. Alright, let's try this again. Can't stop now. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. So, there it is. There's one. Takes us a while to get to the other one. Again, not getting as fine of lines as I wanted to. Oh, there's the other one. There he is. Pop him in, quick. Like a band-aid, rip it off. But yeah, I was adding the baby hairs in, still wasn't getting as fine lines as I wanted to, but I was, I'll just have to keep learning. I have to keep learning. I kept the color scheme of the hair, that burnt umber and phthalo blue color, so that's all I did. I just kind of mixed almost equal parts, not quite. Tried to see if I could get an upside down angle, which would make the eyebrows be a little bit better. Nope. Wiping them off with a Q-tip, trying to soften them. Here I am just adding a bit more hair, darkness, just, I don't even remember if I'm just kind of, oh, it looks like I'm just fixing some edges. That's what it seems to be that I am doing. As you can see down on the bottom, I added a whole layer of lace over top of the rib cage and vine garden that I worked on. I like the addition. I wish I had gotten finer lines and made it look a bit more like lace, because unfortunately a lot of the underneath stuff got lost. But that's another learning experience for next time. Coming in with some more blending, adding some nice brightness to her face, giving her a little bit of a cheeky smile. Because when you live in this weird rose-colored world, all you can do is smile. I seem to be doing a lot of cleanup. I apparently was not happy with whatever I was doing here, and I was like, no, abort mission. Oh, this will be probably a little bit more interesting. I kind of just decided to go a little bit batshit on this ribcage headdress kind of thing, and because I was very underwhelmed with the result of it looking like a ribcage, I'm like, let's just change it and make it look like something else. And that something else ends up being this weird insectoid garden ribcage thing. So yeah, I just kind of used this as a fun thing. I just wanted to have a good time, and so I just took, a nice dark, I think phthalo green and sap green and probably burnt umber, and I just made a nice dark color and started just drawing right on the canvas, coming up, looking at the shapes, looking at the layout I already had, and adding it, just kind of fleshing it out and defining it in different ways from what it was before, and just jagging it around, scrawling, drawing, no real pressure, just trying to fill space, see what I want to do and where I want to go from here. It is rough. I should have planned this painting at all. I had a original concept for her, which was absolutely in no way, shape, or form what ended up being the end result. I kind of dig the concept of this girl. I think it's kind of cool, but it's not what I started with, and I probably would have had a much easier time completing this painting if I had, a real solid foundation. So whatever next painting I do, I'm definitely going to do some more sketches and studies, which I know to do. I just freaking didn't feel like it, okay? God. Sketching in this weird little ruby diamond thing, adding some light, smudging it out, adding more light, adding some darkness underneath here. I'm still a bit intimidated at adding cast shadows, I can see. That's a big scary thing for me to do. So I did make it a college try attempt at it, but it's not as, oh hey, that's my cat Carthus. She likes to hide behind my computer monitor and knock out my monitor wire so that my computer monitor shuts off. But she's still cool. She's popping in, criticizing my work, letting me know that I'll never make it and that I'm a failure. But, sometimes you need that kind of honesty in your life, right? Especially if it's from a talking cat. Adding more designs, not really any kind of anything going on, just like, oh, what'll happen if I add this stripe? What'll happen if I add this scribble? Let's try it. But we got what we got. Adding more highlights over here. Again, my light source was certainly not very defined. I tried a couple times, but I just was like, all right, we're gonna kind of do it this way so that these ligaments, bones, whatever you will call them, have some more dimension. glazing over with some reds, popping stuff like that in, just really trying to have some fun. Adding some highlight colors, because that's a fun thing to do. How many times can I say fun? Oh, I'm drawing in a little fake makeup flower. Wasn't sure where I was going. I think for a millisecond, I even considered possibly just drawing a bunch of these all over the place, like to fill the background, and I was like, nah, no thanks. So yeah, I just kind of went around and scribbled some made-up flowers, just to start filling up some space and relax. That's what Levia really was here to do, was to just give me something to relax with and practice other skills on, like my poor camera angles, and texture and blending, and just not really having to please or impress everybody, even though I sure hope that this was pleasant enough for you to watch, and even a little bit of what I've been able to share has maybe helped somebody who is newer at painting like me figure some stuff out. I'm trying to think of anything that I haven't already mentioned previously. Flowers I still have a really hard time with. I'm not really pleased with my oil painting flowers. I need to just look at more references and do more still lives. I did buy a couple cool props after the holidays for some still life studies. I just want to figure out a place to maybe set them up so that I can kind of just keep a setup around and not have to move it and change my workspace. So I'm hoping that'll help me out a bit. But for now, I was just kind of like, let's just squiggle in some fantasy flowers, because this lady doesn't live in reality for sure, so she probably could appreciate these squiggle line flowers. And it was just kind of a lot of abstract detail work. I didn't want it to be too interesting or too, distracting. I just wanted it to kind of frame her and give her this unsettling but natural vibe. So here we are coming to some of the last details. As you can see, I also did some lacing up on her head, because I just decided, I was like, I'm not even going to mess with the top of her head, but I kind of like the shape, so the lace kind of ended up working. It was cool. What I'm currently painting is a flower I just figured out existed called a bleeding heart, and I was like, that's pretty relatable. So, I mean, why not? What a cool flower to kind of figure out and throw in. And this is like, I mean, it's not the perfect rendering, but this is the weird ass shape that this flower is. It's just like this heart on top with a teardrop on the bottom, and it's got a white spot, and I think they come in different colors. But I was like, that could be really fun to add, and kind of poignant as well. It just kind of like feels, and dealing with that and having a lot of emotions. That's kind of coming through with these bleeding hearts. But I also just thought they were very cute, and I wanted to add them in. So I just kind of scribbled them in quick, blended them out. Again, could use a bit more practice, but I don't know. I really kind of dig it. I think it's cool. I think it's a neat design element, this kind of weird flower. Not necessarily that I executed it like phenomenally or great or good at all, just that I liked the idea of this flower existing in real life at all. It was cool to kind of pull that in there. Thanks, Pinterest. I was using a reference for it loosely. The paint was super wet. Again, I just have to practice throwing in some tiny ones in the background just to give some more, dimension and some more stuff going on. Adding some highlights to it. Tiny one over there in the back. Say hello. Hello. They have these white bellies, kind of, touching up the flower. What I'm using there, if you can tell, is I think it's just like a crappy old piece of PVC pipe or something that I don't even remember where I found it, but I use it as a balance. There is a technical term for it. I don't feel like Googling what that is yet, but basically what it does is you can rest it on the top of your easel, and you can balance your hand and rest your wrist on it so that you don't have to damage your painting surface, and also have a steadier hand. So that's a super useful tool if you haven't already introduced that into your workflow. You can use anything. I have a golf club that I've used. You can use a cane. A cane is probably really good because it has the hook on top, so it will kind of balance and hang from the easel and not run the risk of, because sometimes this white one it's just a stick, so sometimes if I'm not careful I might just kind of slip and drop, but I've never had any real problems with it. Even if you just found this nice stick, any kind of straight object that's not super, thick or wide, will work perfectly. Just adding in some more color here, some more depth. Thinking of weird things to add to the plants, so I just was like, let's add some smoke branches. And then let's put bleeding hearts on those! Because why not? And that's what we did. Adding branches, mixing up my nice reds. Just kind of went through those were alizarin crimson, radiant magenta, and Naples red, kind of mixed together into different values. And I'm just playing around with those. I basically decided those were going to be my main reds. So wherever there was a red, it was one of those 3 reds, or a mix of those 3 reds, so that there was, a semblance of continuity. And I normally do not like green. It's just a color that doesn't jive with me. I'm not into it. But I had a good time adding it to this. It was kind of weird, but I dug it. Just taking some warm white, which is a nice, not complete white, almost more of a yellow. It looks white if you're just kind of staring at it, but if you sit it next to a titanium white, you'll see the difference. It's literally what it sounds like. It's warm white. And I just kind of went around and added some little petals to her headdress, and now I'm just taking some more red and kind of bopping it around, taking this large blender brush with some really watered down red paint and kind of just blushing, almost. Tried to glaze over her lips a little bit with a bit more vibrant color, just to make them pop, make her look a bit more dangerous. Hate that flower petal. I took a sponge and watered down some more alizarin crimson, bopped that over just to see what would happen, and we saw what happened. Left some paint on the canvas in a weird texture. Now I've got some gold metallic paint. That is a Winsor & Newton paint because they don't make it, or at least they did not carry it in Gamblin line at the Michaels I was shopping at. So now I'm just taking that nice metallic gold and just blinging it up. And this is where it's a lot of fun because I could feel myself going, oh my god, I'm like at the end. Here we are at the end of this. We're coming down to the final stretch where I just kind of look around and add little tiny bits and details that will make it work. But yeah, I think as this fades out, we are coming to the end. So it's been such an honor to work on this and share this part of my work process with you. It's new for me to share my actual painting process and not just the end results. So it's been fun, and I hope that it's been at least a little entertaining for you, and if it's helped anybody that's been new like me, I'm super glad for that, and I look forward to making more of these because I feel like I really learned a lot, and it's just kind of nice to look back and learn from my own mistakes and my own process and see where I can improve. And I believe in all you guys, and I think you artists who are picking up oil painting for the first time are really brave, and I know how scary it is, or whatever medium you're working on. Just keep loving art, and everything will be fine. I hope you guys have a really great day, and take it easy.